47, after losing everything, his business, his marriage, his health, Marcus found a single Stoic principle that rebuilt his entire life in 18 months. He stopped reacting and started strategizing, transforming conflicts from emotional battles into opportunities for clarity. You face arguments daily, with your boss, your partner, your own limiting beliefs. This isn't about yelling louder or dominating a conversation. It's about winning with unwavering logic and unshakable calm. This is how you leverage ancient wisdom to navigate modern chaos, turning every challenge into a strategic advantage. This is how you win any argument, not just the debate, but your peace. What does winning truly mean? Is it shouting your opponent into submission, or is it achieving a desired outcome rooted in truth and reason? Most people enter arguments seeking validation, ego-fueled triumphs that leave both parties drained and resentful. But Stoics define victory differently, maintaining your inner calm, upholding virtue, and advancing logic. Data shows 70% of interpersonal conflicts escalate due to an ego-driven need to be right, rather than a desire for resolution. We will show you how to redefine victory, turning every interaction into an exercise in personal mastery. Epictetus taught us the dichotomy of control. Some things are within our power, others are not. In an argument, you cannot control your opponent's emotions, their stubbornness, or their flawed reasoning. But you absolutely control your reaction, your perception, and your response. This isn't about avoiding the fight. It's about choosing your battlefield and your weapons wisely. Focus your energy only on what you can influence, your own words, your own logic, your own calm. This radical shift liberates immense mental energy, transforming how you engage. Your mind is your inner citadel, a fortress no external force can breach unless you permit it. When an argument heats up, insults fly, or illogical accusations are hurled, do not let them penetrate your walls. Seneca observed, "If a man is not his own master, then a blow that falls upon him is a blow that falls upon his mind." Guard your peace above all else. Recognize external opinions as just that, external. They hold no power over your intellect or your composure. This self-mastery is your ultimate shield. Before you can win an argument, you must first understand it. This requires empathy, not as weakness, but as strategic insight. What are their core assumptions? What values drive their position? Dr. Stephen Covey famously said, "Seek first to understand, then to be understood." Listening intently, asking clarifying questions, and mirroring back their points shows respect and reveals vulnerabilities in their reasoning. This disarms hostility and allows you to target the root of the disagreement rather than superficial expressions of it. This isn't about agreeing, it's about tactical comprehension. The Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils, is a powerful tool. Before entering a crucial discussion, anticipate every possible objection, every irrational counterargument, every personal attack. If you foresee their weak points, their emotional triggers, and their logical flaws, you can prepare your responses. Imagine the worst-case scenario, a total personal assault. By mentally rehearsing these challenges, you rob them of their shock value. When they occur, you remain unruffled, your response already formulated, your resolve unshaken. In the noise of conflict, silence is a potent weapon. Most people rush to fill pauses, revealing their anxieties or overplaying their hand. A deliberate, controlled silence after a challenging statement compels your opponent to elaborate, or often to contradict themselves. It forces them to confront their own words. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Sometimes, the most powerful response is no response at all, allowing the weight of their own flawed logic to crush them. This is not passive, it's profoundly active listening and tactical patience. Detachment isn't indifference, it's liberation from emotional entanglement. When you argue with someone, separate their person from the argument itself. The Stoics taught us to see people as fellow travelers, even when their ideas diverge sharply. "Do not be disturbed by trifles," Marcus Aurelius wrote, "but endure everything with courage." Your goal is not to defeat the person, but to defeat the flawed idea. Emotional responses cloud judgment, inviting personal attacks and derailing rational discourse. By detaching, you maintain clarity and control, striking at the idea, not the individual. Objectivity is your lens for truth. Too often, we perceive arguments through the filter of our own biases, experiences, and desires. The Stoic practice is to strip away these layers and see things as they truly are: objective representation, as Marcus Aurelius called it. Is the sky blue, or do you perceive it as sad? In an argument, distinguish between fact and interpretation. Ask yourself, what is demonstrably true here, independent of my feelings or theirs? This ruthless pursuit of objective reality renders emotional pleas and fallacious arguments powerless against you. It's an unyielding commitment to fact. Inspired by Socrates, the Stoics understood the power of skillful questioning. Instead of stating your case directly and inviting immediate opposition, guide your opponent to their own conclusions. Ask open-ended questions that challenge their premises without directly confronting them. How does that logically follow? Could you elaborate on the evidence for that? What alternative explanations have you considered? This approach makes them critically examine their own position, often revealing their own inconsistencies. You don't impose your view, you help them discover the flaws in theirs, a far more persuasive tactic. Recognize the ad hominem fallacy, attacking the person instead of the argument. This is a common tactic of those losing intellectual ground. They can't refute your points, so they attack your character, intelligence, or motives. Do not engage, do not defend. Simply identify the fallacy. You're attacking my character, not my point, or my personal background is irrelevant to the facts we're discussing. Seneca advised, "He who has a great soul cares not whether he is praised or blamed." By refusing to descend to their level, you expose their intellectual bankruptcy and maintain your dignified position. Even in profound disagreement, there are often underlying shared principles. Seek them out. Do both parties value fairness, efficiency, justice, security? By framing your argument within a shared value framework, you build bridges instead of walls. We both want what's best for the team, you might say, so let's explore which path truly aligns with that goal. This technique reduces defensiveness and invites collaborative problem-solving, even if the initial positions seem diametrically opposed. It shows respect for their fundamental values, creating an opening for your logic to penetrate. For the Stoic, virtue is the highest good. When you enter an argument, your goal isn't personal triumph, but to uphold truth, justice, and reason. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it, said Marcus Aurelius. Let integrity be your compass. Are you arguing for the sake of your ego or for what is genuinely correct and beneficial? This virtuous intention strengthens your position, lending moral authority to your words. When your opponent senses your commitment to truth, not just winning, their own defensiveness often softens. A truly powerful arguer knows when to concede a minor point. This is not weakness, it's strategic brilliance. By acknowledging a valid aspect of your opponent's argument, even if it doesn't undermine your main premise, you build credibility and reduce their resistance. You're right, that aspect is certainly a concern. Or, I agree with your point regarding X, however, my primary concern is Y. This disarms hostility, shows intellectual honesty, and positions you as a reasonable, fair-minded individual. It is a small sacrifice for a larger victory, demonstrating your commitment to truth over ego. Most arguments are riddled with logical fallacies. Learn to identify them. Is it a straw man where they misrepresent your position, an appeal to emotion bypassing reason, a false dilemma presenting only two options when more exist? By pinpointing these flaws and calmly naming them, you dismantle their argument with surgical precision. That's a straw man. My point was actually X. You're appealing to fear, not fact. This is intellectual self-defense. Equipping yourself with the knowledge of common fallacies is like having X-ray vision in a verbal battle, seeing through deception. The Stoic principle of amor fati, love your fate, extends even to the outcome of arguments. You cannot always win in the conventional sense, especially if your opponent refuses to be reasonable, but you can always win internally. Love the outcome, whatever it is, because it provides an opportunity for growth, for practicing your virtues, for refining your logic. If you presented your case with reason and integrity and they still reject it, that is their burden, not yours. Your victory lies in your steadfastness, your peace, and your commitment to truth, regardless of external validation. Your internal narrative defines your experience. Before, during, and after an argument, be vigilant about your self-talk. Do you tell yourself you're inadequate, or that the situation is hopeless. Challenge those narratives, frame the argument as a training exercise, a chance to practice patience and logic. This person is simply misguided, rather than this person is evil. Marcus Aurelius advised, the mind becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Cultivate a narrative of strength, resilience, and intellectual curiosity. This inner dialogue is the bedrock of your external composure. Consider Sarah, a project manager facing constant pushback from a senior colleague, Mark, who undermined her ideas in meetings. Instead of reacting emotionally, Sarah applied Stoic logic. She anticipated Mark's typical objections, premeditatio malorum, listened to his core concerns about resources, understanding opponent, then presented her project data objectively, focusing on the company's profitability, objective perception. When Mark tried an ad hominem attack on her youth, she calmly stated, "My age is irrelevant to the ROI projections." By detaching and focusing on facts, Sarah won the executive team's approval for her project, securing an additional $1.2 million budget for her team. In personal relationships, arguments often become battlegrounds for ego. John and Emily frequently argued about household chores. John felt Emily never appreciated his efforts, while Emily felt overwhelmed. Applying Stoic principles, John recognized he couldn't control Emily's appreciation, dichotomy of control. He instead focused on his own virtue, doing chores diligently without expectation of praise. He then initiated a conversation, not with blame, but with Socratic questions. How do you feel our current chore distribution impacts our shared peace? This shifted the argument from accusation to a collaborative search for a peaceful, logical solution, improving their marital satisfaction by 60% over 6 months. This is not merely about winning debates. It's about winning mastery over yourself, your reactions, and your life. Every argument becomes an opportunity to forge your character, sharpen your mind, and deepen your wisdom. You now possess the ancient tools of Stoic logic. Go forth. Engage with reason, not emotion. Defend truth, not ego. Practice these principles daily, and you will not only win arguments, but you will win an unshakable peace that no external force can disturb. The time for passive acceptance is over. The time to command your intellect is now. Implement these strategies and witness your transformation.